This lovely early 70s Marshall came in, a couple weeks ago, a month ago. I've been looking forward to getting to it. I just had other things ahead of it in the queue. The owner is not convinced that the head cab is original. I'm not either, though it's old and it's seen things, man. It's had some bad repairs with, looks like smeared glue, and some of the piping's gone and stuff. But it's got a cool vibe. Let me take this out of the head cab and we'll take a look at the amp itself. And I'll look for any clues inside the cab as to whether it might be original. I suspect that the cabinet itself is original, but was recovered in white Tolex. The Tolex job does not seem factory, and there is white spray paint on the inside of the head itself, over the wood, just a lot of white overspray. But the Tolex is not painted. But I am not a historian of the cosmetics of different Marshall eras. I know the circuits. I just don't get distracted by all the other stuff. Like they only used, the beating changed by 0.05 millimeters in 1972 for 6 months. I just can't keep up with that. And more importantly, we got a Mark II super bass, 100 watts. At least that's how it started. You can see it is missing the output impedance selector. Hopefully these jacks have been hardwired to one or two of these. Maybe these are 16s, these are 8s, maybe 4, 8, 16. We'll find out. It's had a replaced mains cable, not very well replaced. There's some scarring here from that. It's got chewed up mains fuse holders and HT fuse holders, like on that 75 the other day. It says it's a 3 amp. It says it's a 1 amp. 3 amps seems really low for 100 watt Marshall. I'll have to confirm that. Let me open these up and see what's in place. And again, starting with a screwdriver and then switching to a nickel. Well, it's got the 1 amp and the 3 amp, so that's good. I'll put these back. Well, I'm turning these by hand. It's got 4 Phillips 60A7s, which are the US version of an EL34. If those tubes are still good, hopefully they are, those are some of the best tubes ever made from Marshall, so it's really nice to see them. Hopefully they will stay with us. And the preamps, we've got a GE, another GE, and another GE. That makes me happy. Just a close-up showing how chewed up these old fuse holders get. There's a little bit of rust, minor rusty pitting here and there. I'll clean that off as I go and make sure everything's good. I don't see an inspection sticker. There's a part of the chassis here that's a little bit lighter, as if maybe there used to be a sticker there. If so, it's long gone. I don't see any date codes precisely on the transformers, though they seem to be all original, and I will make sure all the hardware is tight on them. I don't see any convenient big black ink date stamps on the transformers like on that 75 the other day. So I'll have to find a manufacturer's code or something to see if I can date this a little bit more. Let's take a look inside. Well, aside from a lot of dirt and a very badly installed replacement power cable, that's easy to fix, everything else in here seems pretty much original, including those old dailies. They'll need to be changed out. Rather worryingly, but hard to show in a video, there is no connection between any of the output transformer secondaries and the speaker jacks without that missing link on the impedance selector switch. So here's one of the taps, which is connected to negative feedback. Here's another tap. Here's another tap. Here is the center of that switch, which goes here, but there is no connection from any of the taps to this without that switch in place. So I will talk to the owner about replacing that switch, just like in the 75. And I don't remember your name. I apologize. One of the commenters pointed me towards a part that TAD, Tube Amp Doctor, is making, which adapts the old Marshall whole plate very neatly. So I'll be using that. Thank you very much. And in the meantime, I'll probably find out which of these wires is the 8 ohm and just connect it straight to here so that the amp will have a load for testing. You can kind of see in this shot that this is one of the amps where this tube and this tube do not have grid stoppers, but this tube and this tube do. They did that for a while. This does not make me happy. There's scorching around these diodes. That should not happen. Hopefully the board has no damage. Worst comes to worst, I could mount a diode bridge to the chassis and just leave these in for cosmetics. But I will inspect this and see why there's such heat damage in this area. And it has the original bias caps, which need to go. They are as old as I am, at the very least. Someone replaced the 100 nanofarad output coupling caps and the phase inverter from the super base spec to these 22 nanofarad black cats. They just tack soldered. This is hack work. I will speak to the owner and see if he wants this to be put back to super base or to super lead spec or something in between. Either way, these black cat caps were poorly installed backwards too, with the outer film band the wrong area. And here, and here, someone has done a bless their heart with some really poorly installed mods for unknown, unknowable, and untrustable reasons. So I'm going to put this back to how it should be, and the parts that have been poorly changed, like this resistor, will get some love, and mystery blobs of solder will go away, and everything will be made as close to original as possible. All the electrolytics will be changed out here, the bias supply, the big filter caps. It's just a shame that all that work was done so poorly and now it has to be undone. The jacks and pots and switches are all original. The wire to and from the pots has been messed with in not very pretty ways. That can be fairly easily cleaned up, and all this nonsense can be dealt with. I'll clean everything and remove from the chassis to clean back here where the grounds are made to the chassis. The chassis got some funk on it that I'll clean up. That should clean up pretty neatly with just some naphtha or ISO. The preamp tube sockets seem to be in good shape. I'll probably move some grids away from the heaters. That'll be for later though. Just as a matter of diagnostic thoroughness, this octal socket here has been changed out at some point in the past, but they seem to do a good job and transfer the original screen grid resistor. So hopefully there's no damage to a tube in this socket. We'll find out later, but this amp needs a lot of work before I turn it on. A lot of work, much of it cleaning and putting things back the way they were, and about half of the inevitable bill on this will have been because of some previous guy doing really shitty work. You know, I see the comments where people say, "You're so mean. Why are you so mean? Are you trying to make yourself look good by putting other people down?" No, they don't need any help from me. I mean, this left someone's shop. This cannot be the first time a tech has been in here. This cannot be just some backyard project from 1978 that's just escaped attention all these years. This was deliberate. Someone knew just enough to know exactly how to hurt this thing. On behalf of the amps, they don't have a voice because their voice has been taken from them. So I try to give them a voice in this and be their advocate. Bad work needs to be mentioned. We need to have standards. And if you don't think that the work I do sets the standard, that's fine. But have a standard. Pick a standard, stick to it. It can be me. It can be Uncle Doug. There's lots of good people doing tech work on YouTube. Some doing not so great, but you know, you'll figure it out. Find a standard. Develop a sense of what things could be. In a world where bad things don't happen to amps. Thanks for watching.